Welcome to the latest episode of The Independent. I'm Pete Sampson, joined as always by my host, Matt Fortuna. Unlike most podcasts, I'm back home. Matt's still in a press box, just not the one at Notre Dame. You saw the most impressive team in Indiana tonight. I saw one of the most interesting ones.
You saw a better football game, which I didn't expect from either side.
After Notre Dame's 56-30 win over Purdue, it had a lot of everything, and it feels like where Notre Dame is going right now as a program is like the offense is ascending much more quickly than I would have thought when the season began. I really thought CJ Carr was going to need some time to grow in the job. Not so. The defense, I don't think, looked any better tonight than they have the first 2 weeks, which is, I thought the bare minimum for today for Notre Dame was the defense comes out of the Purdue game thinking like, okay, this is what we're good at. This is who we are. And I'm not sure they hit either of those marks.
No, we talked about this on our weekly Wednesday pregame show, right, Pete? I mean, I think, we said what would they have to do against an opponent like Purdue to feel better about themselves and make us feel like this is
like
going on a positive trajectory.
Nope.
Yeah, I think I said 14. That would include like garbage time, which ended up being like 30, including garbage time, because it was 23. Not inside. Look, can't say enough about the offense, right? I mean, outside the fumble, 7 touchdowns on their first 7 drives. They are humming right now. I don't think that's a way to live. As good as CJ Carr has looked, as good as Jeremiah Love and Jarian Price has looked, as much as Malachi Fields looks like a legitimate number 1 wide receiver that they've lacked probably since Chase Claypool. But the defense, it's just underwhelming again and again. And, that first touchdown, you could look at it, the Devin Mockabee pass to Ryan Brown, the quarterback. Yeah, we could look at that and say, oh, it's a trick play by a team, playing with all the house money in the world. They ran essentially the same play last week against USC.
Yeah.
I mean, the fake punt, which again, this is special teams, not. You could see that one coming from hundreds of miles away here in Bloomington, Indiana. It just was not an inspiring performance. And me and you can break this down by numbers and feel and whatnot. You were there in the room for Marcus Freeman's postgame press conference. I watched it the minute I saw your tweet about it. And I don't know what the correct adjective is to describe his mood. Dejected, down. He seemed tired. Exasperated. Yes, that's it's a big word, but yeah, that's probably it. Like it looked like a guy who knows he's got a lot more work on his hands through 3 weeks of the season than I think he ever thought he would, as far as correcting mistakes and getting this train back on the right track. I mean, I know Arkansas lost today, and that's a really bad loss, but that offense put up a lot of yards and a lot of points the last couple of weeks. Yeah. I have no reason to think they won't do that again at home in a game, in an environment that's going to be rocking. And I have no reason to think that Notre Dame's going to stop them. Now, I think Notre Dame will score more points, but if we're going into Game 4 with that mentality still, if we're going to have some version of that week in and week out, that's not a way to live for Notre Dame's football program. I just think, the first question was from Pete Byrne, and Freeman went almost 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And he even apologized for rambling during it. And he talked about things that had nothing to do with defense. But, his introduction said something, I believe the phrase he used was momentary gratification, which I have not heard that used before in this context. But it also, like, at least it's like he recognizes it, right? We see coaches every week all around the country. Saw Brian Kelly last week. Like, what are you talking about? We won the game. No, like, Marcus Freeman knows he has a real issue on his hand, and he doesn't seem like he has the answer right now.
I thought he was like almost on tilt at points tonight in the post-game press conference, because it's like I'm not sure how much he remembered about what Notre Dame did well tonight, and there were a bunch of things, because he was just like, no, let me catch you up on the stuff that we crap the bed with. Like, he seemed like a guy that was sick of searching for answers and annoyed with the people on the search party with him. Like he was not having it at all. I went back and watched the YouTube replay a couple times to count up how many times he pounded the lectern. I counted it 45 times. I mean, and some of them were like bang. Some of them were rapid succession. Like his arms were all like a body language expert would have had a field day with Marcus Freeman post game today. Like he was all over the place. And I think it's not that he like lacks control or self-awareness. I think he's good on both of those things. He is just so fed up with what they're doing on defense. I think this is a situation where I don't know if we got into this in the midweek show or not. Like the difference between where Chris Ash is and where Brian Van Gorder was, because like that drive at the end of the second quarter felt like the end of the Stanford game in 2015 to me. Obviously, the stakes are a lot lower, but just like, what are you doing? But the big difference, and this is really significant, is like Marcus Freeman is offended by crappy defense, and Brian Kelly is like, whatever, we'll score more points. And so I'd like that is not a good situation for Chris Ash to be in right now, because he's got a head coach that is pissed and probably on the warpath about what the defense is doing.
And I don't know what the answer is, right? I mean, Leonard Moore did not play, which, we were both getting wind late in the week that was probably going to be the case. Devontae Smith did not play, at least I'm a lot less certain or clear on what the prognosis there is, short-term or long-term. But it shouldn't matter when you're playing Purdue, right? Like, I don't want to like sound disrespectful to Purdue. I think they're on the up, but like we should not be having the conversation we're having right now. Marcus Freeman should not be having the press conference he had earlier today about Purdue, giving up 30 points to Purdue. I mean, it was, and again, I don't want to make it all negative. I think this is, there's a question in here, and I might as well throw it in here right now from Jay. Best ND offense since ? Worst ND defense since ? I mean, the season as a whole reminds me of 2015, where they lost 2 games by a total of 4 points to 2 really good teams, and that wasn't enough. But might be the best offense since then. Trying to think, 17 when they were humming was really good. Worst ND defense since it's got to be 16 when they literally fired their coordinator 4 games into the season. But
yeah,
it's that kind of year so far.
Yeah.
I have a notes column going up tomorrow around the college football world, and I have a line in there saying, take everything I wrote about Notre Dame's defense in my Friday column, print it out, fold it up, and toss it into a wastebasket, because it was clearly a bunch of BS that was fed to me by people trying to make Chris Ash look good. There's very few threads to pull on coming out of this game that make you feel significantly better about where Notre Dame football is going than you did, at the start of this day. And Freeman, I think you could tell, like, that's really dawned on him. Did you ask, I think, the last question about what the team needs? And he said something to the effect of like, we got to stop making us feel better about being only 4 points away. No, we lost both games. Like, that's what we're judged on. Like, I think great that they're.
Too many people probably have either came up to Freeman, or worse yet, he heard it in the locker room, or just like, hey, we're close. Or like some coach said, like, guys, we're really close. We're just 4 points away. And like, he's just like, F that. Like that, like, we're 0-2. We have some like embarrassing tape out there now. Like, that's why I keep coming back to, like, I think Freeman can live with watching crappy offense. I mean, he's done it a little bit in his time here. Like, if they're playing junk offense, but they have just enough to win, I think he's cool with that. I think he'd rather win 23-13 than 56-30. And it's just like, I think that he is like personally offended by the defense Notre Dame is playing right now, because he's a defensive guy, and this is just like antithetical to everything he stands for as a coach.
Yeah, I couldn't agree
about that.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think every head coach, every coach football, they all come from somewhere, right? Offense or defense, or in some cases, special teams. I know for going back 2 years, which ended up being Nick Saban's last year, I covered his loss to Texas, where Texas ran out the last X number of minutes by running the football. And I just remember talking to people on that sideline in Tuscaloosa who were like, that might be the thing that like breaks Nick Saban, like seeing his defense unable to like stop the clock because he's a defensive guy, and that's what's going to burn a hole in his heart. And like that's what we're seeing in real time right now. I think with Notre Dame, even and Marcus Freeman, he even said, "Hey, I'm rambling a little bit here," but that whole first 4 or 5 minute answer to the first question, he starts going down. And by the way, I should have kicked it on 4th and 4 with Kenny Minchie. But the other play, by the way, Mike Denbrock wanted to go for it, and I wanted to kick it because we got a backup kicker in there, and we need to get him some reps. And it just feels like you're almost grasping for answers or positives or just anything to hang on to when you put up 56 points and get your first one of the season. I mean, it shouldn't be that way in that context, but I don't want to be like, oh, he's a head coach. He's got all the answers because they're all human and they're all make errors, but like he's nothing if not a very smooth operator when the cameras are on and when the cameras are off. Yeah. He's rarely looks rattled or doesn't have an answer after a loss or after a win. And yeah, today it just felt like, how am I going to get through these 15 minutes? Because I'm not really sure what I just watched, nor do I know what it means.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times if they lose or if he doesn't have an answer, he's got some go-to lines about like, we got execution and enhance and full potential, and like he's got some like standard lines he can go to. I think he was so exasperated after this game, like he wouldn't even touch that stuff. It was just like, I'm sick of watching what I'm watching, and to be fair, what he's watching is the next great Notre Dame quarterback coming of age much more quickly than probably anybody thought possible. He's watching maybe the best 1-2 punch in college football, all due respect to Penn State, at running back in Price and Love. I mean, they combine.
I thought you were going to say a quarterback and running back, which they're not that far out of the equation now with Carr.
No, yeah, I mean, once you enter Drew Aller into the chat here, like Notre Dame comes out ahead. But I mean, I think Price and Love combined for 30 touches for 373 yards and 6 touchdowns. Like,
does that even include the kick return?
It does, yeah.
Okay,
I mean, it's just, and it's not only ridiculous in terms of like the overall output. I track rush efficiency during the game. So basically, it's like, did you get 40% of necessary yards on first down, 60% on second down, 100% on third down or fourth down? I think they finished like 24 of 28, which is an insane number. 50% is a pretty good percentage. They were over 80%. Like that is bananas. So like for the run game to not only be deadly with the explosive runs, but just rip your heart out efficient with like the medium runs. Like they've got a lot of really good things going on offense. And I think like if you weren't a Notre Dame fan, one, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. But if you weren't a Notre Dame fan watching Notre Dame, you'd be like, I love this. This is so entertaining. Like they have a very entertaining football team. The head coach is not neutral. And he is entertained by good defense and 3 and outs and havoc plays and interceptions and fourth down stops. And they don't get, I think they had, 14 havoc plays tonight after, I think they were in single digits total for the first 2 games.
Forced 2 turnovers, which is
forced 2
one
turnovers,
more than they did all season.
Couple sacks. I think they only had 1 coming into the game. There are some good things. Like if Freeman really wanted to get up there and put a brave face on this one and do the Brian Kelly, I'm sick of no credit from the local press stuff shtick. Like he could have done it. Like he easily could have got up there and spun this in a way of like, I'm getting the defenses back. Like Chris Ash, I believe in you. We're gonna get this like tuned up. I love where we're going. I saw real progress today. That is not what he did at all. And that really stuck with me walking out of Notre Dame Stadium tonight.
On the positives of the post game, and maybe I'm reading a little too much into it, but he really leaned into the what? You think we overreact here? Never.
I got Jadarian Price positive for the postgame. I don't know if you heard his press conference.
No. Freeman about Jadarian Price.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He really leaned into that question and answer, and repeatedly said something to the effect of, "I don't even care about the touchdowns and what he's doing on the field. Like everyone can learn from that guy, who's a 1A on 99% of the college football rosters in the country, and is a 1B here." And these are my words, but capturing like the essence of what Freeman said. And I don't know, maybe. Do you think he's talking to his team there as much as?
So
they all talk to their teams through the media, but in that specific case,
I did not think of it as it was happening. It's an interesting point because he said something very similar about Dallas Golden. The freshman nickel who came in, got his first pick tonight, gave him a touchdown tonight. Really, his first playing time tonight too. He had played field corner, he played boundary corner. Now we're playing you at nickel, and Dallas Golden's just like, "Coach, whatever you need me to do, I'm going to do it." And so, I could see maybe there's a message sent. I don't know to whom he is sending it, which is kind of an interesting point too, right?
I think the whole roster. Generally speaking,
who needs to hear that? But maybe somebody does. I was going to bring up the Jadarian Price. He got asked a pretty innocuous question about, hey, the last time you were in a big rain delay, Audric Estime had an 85-yard touchdown right after the break. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't even think Price is going to remember this at all. And yet he's like, "Oh yeah, we were talking about that in the locker room, but I didn't have a hot dog like he did." And I'm just like, "Oh man, there are parts of this team that are so good. They really should not get overshadowed by the defense. But I do think, just the way the defense is, it feels like a fatal flaw at some point. I think that's probably what gets to Freeman the most. Is just damn it, we've got so much good happening on offense, and at any moment we could give up another 22-yard pass because guys aren't totally sure where to go, and that I think has got to rip his heart out on a professional and probably personal level.
We're going to get to questions here in a minute. Before we begin with those, I want to thank you all for subscribing to The Independent. Continue to subscribe, rate, review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Continue to follow us on our YouTube page as well. Again, thank you to all who are tuning in late at night for a nice, I hate to say it, but therapy session after Notre Dame's 56-30 win over Purdue. We'd like to also thank our sponsors at Obvious Shirts, OBVIOUS, SHIRTS.com. Friend of the pod, great pod merch, t-shirts, quarter zips, hoodies, crew necks, you name it. They got it all. Thanks to our friends at Obvious Shirts.
And thanks to our friends at Roback.com, RHOBACK.com. You can get 20% off your first order by using the promo code Irish. I've got my Roback hoodie on tonight. Post-game apparel. I see more and more Notre Dame Roback gear around the stadium too. Their game day polo, which I think was gifted to both of us, has become a very popular one walking around the concourses of Notre Dame Stadium. Roback.com, 20% off your first order with promo code Irish.
I'd like to also thank our new sponsor, DraftKings. The rivalries, the marching bands, the upsets. Saturdays just got way more fun. College football is back. Think you know the game? Put your knowledge to the test with the DraftKings Sportsbook and turn your picks into big payouts. With live betting, rivalry week odds boosts, and more, DraftKings Sportsbook is everything you need to own every Saturday. You want to bet on C.J. Carr to win the Heisman? You can do that at DraftKings, plus 5,500 right now. And here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code INDEPENDENT. That's code INDEPENDENT for new customers to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. To questions we go, and we've got a handful of them. Jack Corcoran, most explosive end team in a while. Trouble is, it's for both teams. As Pete alluded to in many more words than you boiled it down to, Jack. Yeah, like this is a entertaining product. I think I may get old takes exposed tonight because I was like, why would they put Indiana, Illinois on Peacock when it's the Big Ten's game of the week and Notre Dame's that blowing out Purdue in the second half? But hey, you know what? Again, much to the chagrin of everyone other than like Indiana Hoosiers fans, Notre Dame Purdue ended up being a better football game than Indiana Illinois ended up being. But yeah, I mean, look, it definitely reached that point in the first half where you're watching and you're like, yeah, no, where the punters can just take the day off. Like, who's going to make a mistake? Who's going to hold them to field goals instead of touchdowns? Like, nothing's slowing down either of these offenses right now.
No, and I think what's alarming for Notre Dame is like you knew Purdue could not run the ball. Like God bless them for trying with Devin Maccabee. They were getting nowhere, and Devin Maccabee finished with
16 yards and 12 carries.
Yeah, not great, Bob. But they kept trying to do it. So essentially, they're playing with one hand tied behind their back, but yet they got the wrong hand of Ryan Brown, and then he throws for. They shut him down in the second half when essentially they couldn't protect him. But still, Purdue finished right at 300 yards passing. And as I was going through the entire Al Golden era, I believe they allowed 300 yards passing in a game one time. It was to Drake May, who turned out to be pretty good. Notre Dame has allowed 300 yards passing in back-to-back weeks. 2 out of 3 games for Chris Ash. Like, that's not great. I realized tonight it's kind of a fun with numbers. It felt like they were going to give up 500 yards passing, and then they ultimately only gave up 250 that mattered. But still, it's not good.
Pete, you could say, oh, it was garbage time. No, like they had more than their fair share of garbage time second half with Al Golden.
Yeah.
No one got it. No one got close to 300. And with all due respect to Purdue's receivers, we're not talking about Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver here.
No.
I guess we're talking about Ryan Brown as a receiver, but like it just
Nitro Tuggle. I mean, the name is too good.
The name is amazing. I mean, that is just like that's got to be. If I still play video games and was playing EA, like I would want him on my roster. Clint Novak. It is either the players have no clue what Ash is asking of them, or they tune him out. I don't know. I don't want to like venture into territory. I don't know. I don't know the dynamics as far as how he is with the players. But something's amiss there. I mean, clearly, we could get up here and say the talent's not what it was last year, and that's fine. They still should be giving up 300 yards passing to Purdue.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't. It's like Freeman's answer about that drive right before halftime. I think it was 75 yards in 57 seconds, 6 plays. And he's like, this was the part where I was like, ooh, like something is not good here. He's like, we're playing cover 1, we're playing cover 2, we're playing cover 3, we're playing cover 4. Like the problem is like you're doing nothing.
None of it's working nothing. And you're panicking. Yes.
Yeah, like you're doing nothing. And it's just like he's just talking to Chris Ash right now. Like we just happen to be in the room. And that part was like, because like I don't know if you caught this on the NBC broadcast, but like after Nitro Tuggle scored there, like Freeman is bent over, hands on knees, like kind of how Urban Meyer used to be when things went bad, just like I'm physically ill. And I thought you would think that 4 hours later, including a 2-hour rain delay, like that would have worn off. But clearly it did not. And so that's why it's not just the stats. Some mean more than others. It's not just the point total. It's like, and it's not even just what Freeman said, it's how he said it. That part really sticks with you as like, this guy knows he's got a problem.
Mondays are like State of the Union addresses, right? Like the weekly head coach press conference. He gets his suit on, he goes on there, yada, yada, yada. All the TV cameras are there. You're not in the heat of the moment after a win or a loss. And few people come better prepared than he does. I am curious because everything, for the most part, he says, everything for the most part that any coach says in those weekly pressers are very, very strategic and calculated and thought out 100 times over before they get up there. Does he choose to take a similar, like, does he look at the film over the next 48 hours, wonder, what the hell did I just watch? Or does he see the signs that weren't visible to him in the game, aren't visible to anyone who watched this game, and start projecting a positive outlook for the team? Not like blindly optimistic, it's all roses. No, like they're going to have a battle on their hands next Saturday. But I'm curious what his approach will be. Because even post-game, you leave 10 guys on the field against Ohio State. I mean, I know it was BS, but he gets up there and he's able to like convince you in that moment, partially of like, here's what happened and why, even if it doesn't excuse it. Today it was just like, yeah, like the Urban was like that even in winning, but like, yes, like it had that like, I don't want to, it was, I don't want to say crazy fans because fans short for fanatic and all fans, especially at games, go crazy over every play. But like, it was almost like a fan, like his body language was like that of a fan, right? Like, how, whether you're watching your soccer or whatever, and I'm watching like the Knicks or Yankees, like how many times do you watch and just like, oh, like what, how do we keep doing? Like, like we're thinking emotionally and we're being controlled by it. We're not like, okay, we got to play better defense here. We got to do this. We got to do that. And like, yeah, it just had that feel of it with Marcus Freeman post game. It was unlike anything I think we've seen in 4 years from him, 5 years, including his DC days.
Yeah, it's like, I thought his opening statement, usually, sometimes those are insightful, sometimes they're not. I thought this one was. It was like, here, I'll just read to you. As I told the guys in the locker room, this is why you work hard. This is why you spend a lot of hours trying to come up with a plan that you're able to find a way to victorious. You got to enjoy it and celebrate it. If you don't, it's going to be a miserable profession for coaches, but also the game for young people. And then if you listen to the next 15 minutes, like he's not taking his own advice at all.
I'm saying he's talking to himself there more than he's talking to his players, I think.
He's like, Marcus, I got to tell you something, Marcus. You should celebrate this. You should not be miserable. But then he's like, I am going to be miserable. Don't tell me how I'm supposed to feel about this. Like, he just, I have not seen anything like that from, we've both seen some like pretty ugly Notre Dame wins under him. I mean, some spectacular Notre Dame wins. But I mean, I'm thinking of like a less satisfying victory under Marcus Freeman for Notre Dame than this one.
Navy on the road, 22, maybe. That's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah, that he was exasperated by that one. That would be an example of that. I mean, I'm thinking like even
Stanford when he chewed into Estime. I mean, they killed him, but
yeah,
he wasn't great then.
I guess there are some like sort of examples, but like not.
Right.
It's hard to pick them out, and I think you have to like put little disclaimers on all the other examples that you come up with. I want to go back for my final thoughts on Monday to figure out like what win has he had that's been like more frustrating than this one.
But every example you just came up with off the top of our head, they were all like confined to that Saturday, which is why it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, we took the second half off against Navy. We won't do that again.
Yeah.
We fumbled the ball too much against Stanford in a game we won by like 30. Like, okay, it was the last game of the regular season. Miami, Ohio last year. All these things were confined to the 60 minutes that we all just watched. What we saw post-game today was the 2025 Notre Dame football season and trying to figure out where it goes from here and how it gets there, because I don't know if anyone has an answer right now.
Yeah, I think it was you're watching a head coach watch his own season flash before his eyes, and he does not like what he sees. Yeah,
Jack Corcoran. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Jack Corcoran says, excuse me. Do not love hearing panic so much from Freeman Day in the presser, year 4 of a head coach, and even longer as a defensive coach. You would hope he wouldn't be feeling that still. I don't know if panic's the right word, but yeah, I mean, I understand the sentiment. I would agree with that. Jack had one more. Last one. All 3 games, the second half D has been better than the first half D. The trouble is the first half D has been so poor. It's why we're only 1-2 instead of 3-0. How do we come out stronger on D? I'm not sure the D in the second half against A&M was better than it was in the first half. I mean, Marcel Reed misfired on multiple long touchdown passes.
Yeah,
and that worked.
More yards passing.
It wasn't anything that Notre Dame did, in my opinion. But Miami is. Miami was.
Yeah, defense much better in the second half today. I didn't think, like, Brian Brown had no room to breathe. The Miami one is trickier because, like, when you absolutely needed to have a stop to start the second half, they went right down the field and scored a touchdown. So it's like, were they better in the second half? Technically, yes. But spiritually, no. But I would say tonight they were better in the second half. But I would agree with you. I thought A&M saying, like, hey, they made halftime adjustments felt a little bit like cheering a team's free throw defense. Like, way to go, guys. Like, Marcel Reed missed 2 wide open deep shots. If he hits them, that you had nothing to do with any of it.
My college roommates and I would always joke in our fantasy football league, like, I got the number 1 defense in the league because whoever I played that week has not scored as many points as they did against other people. David Soffer seems more when than if Ash is demoted. When will that be? I don't know. I mean, I got the firmest amount of pushback as you can get about that happening from multiple quarters last week. But I think each week brings a new life cycle of this storyline until it gets fixed. So we're going to ask it. And I don't know. Do you think?
Let me, because I'm sure many people have texted you this as they have texted me. Like, I think there's a part of the fan base that believes that Chris Ash should get fired, like, tomorrow. I don't see what the upside would be in that at all. Like, that doesn't mean that he needs to have, like, autonomy on defense, but, like, I don't see any upside. And, like, from what I can gather, the players seem to like him. I just don't think there's any upside in that. Like, I think that you keep everyone in that room and maybe you collaborate a little bit differently. Maybe Marcus is more involved moving forward. All that's fine, but I don't think you need to, like, after 3 games, like, that's just not I understand it's like Marcus Freeman has talked about, hey, we're not going to tolerate this, that, and the other. And, like, this is not a defense you want to tolerate, but also, like, you need to be a good boss too. And if you're hiring people to fire them after 2 games or 3 games, like, that's not being a good boss. So I think it's like, it's on Marcus's to fix it. And then after the season, then you can make kind of a decision.
I don't disagree with anything you said, but to everyone who wants him fired right now, I do not have, like, a counter argument that I can present to you saying, give it time, or what about this, or what about that. I agree in principle, like, firing someone 3 games after you hire him isn't, a standard business practice for successful coaches. That being said, Marcus Freeman has become a very accomplished head coach in a very short period of time. He's earned the benefit of the doubt with everyone at Notre Dame about everything. If that's something he felt strongly about, I'm not saying he does, because I don't think he does. I don't think anyone should stand in his way. Now, what's the solution to that? Is it him? Is it Mickens? I don't know. But I'm trying to think if we've seen it happen to great success, a scenario like that. We've seen coaches cut losses early. I mean, Clark Lee fired his OC before he ever coached a game, didn't he?
I'm just going to say that, yeah, which, it didn't go very well. They lost.
No, it didn't.
There. So it's like, I understand fans just basically wanting blood because their fans. Like that, you're totally within your right to feel that way. I just think from an organizational point of view, like I don't think Notre Dame needs more disruption right now. They've already got enough to get sorted out, and unless there's something behind the scenes that's untoward and like people are not getting along. But I have never heard that secondhand, so that doesn't strike me as a move that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it happens. I'm not saying it should happen. I'm just the pitchforks are out and they should be out. Like I don't have a counter argument to everyone's anger right now.
No.
The one thing I did get from a lot of people I talked to last week, it was, hey, you're being a little harsh. The talent isn't what it was last year, yada, 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 yada. But it was also like, hey, if they're that confused or if they're making this many mistakes, how in the world did the coaches have not noticed this the last 9 months behind the scenes between spring practice and fall camp?
What I mean, how about this for like, how is that possible? CJ Carr was throwing too many interceptions in training camp to like win the job. Like, how is that possible? Like,
and we all rationalize that by saying, hey, look who he's going against every day.
The defense, like we were told the defense is so far ahead of the offense. I'm like, how is that possible? I'm completely flabbergasted by that.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up. Jack Corcoran again. Arkansas is bad, but they can score. Might need to win that one 56-49 at this point. I mean, they're going to be saying this a lot. Is Purdue the worst team that they – well, no, Stanford is. Next to Stanford. Is Purdue the worst team they have on the schedule left? BC, maybe?
BC lost to Stanford.
Right.
I'm despite Steve Angeli likely going down for a long term, like I would not dismiss Syracuse at all.
I feel terrible for him. This is in no way, shape, or form a commentary on his play or person. I think Syracuse's offense is I think Syracuse's offense is plug and play. They had already named this guy the starter.
Yeah.
I forget his name, transferred from LSU before Angeli got there. I don't think they'll take a huge step back from whatever they were going to be with Angeli.
I mean, I don't know. Like, is Pittsburgh any good? I have no idea. Navy
probably better. They're probably better than Purdue.
I mean, Navy, you have to be fundamentally sound all the time.
Well,
that doesn't feel great right now. So I just I think I said this during the week. I really feel like from Notre Dame's point of view that the healthiest way to look at like this season is not in terms of CFP or any of that stuff. It's just like today was the first game of a 5-game season. This like they have a 2-game season. Now they have a 5-game season, and then they'll have another 5-game season after the USC game. They needed to show something on defense that made you feel like, all right, they're going to go 5-0 in this second season, which is, Purdue, Arkansas next week, Boise State at home, NC State at home, USC at home. You need to and should win all 5 of those games. But there's just too many trapdoors with the defense right now to feel overly confident in it. But I just maybe the offense showed enough that you're like, shoot, I mean, they're going to just rip it on all of these teams. And they might. I mean, this could be a 40-point a game offense. If you throw special team stuff in there.
They might. That's no way to live. It's no way to live and not fair to put all that, I think, on a redshirt freshman quarterback either.
No. There's no way to live in November in Northern Indiana.
Yeah.
Not great.
By the way, they did win the game today. It was their first one of the year. They are now 1-2. Marcus Freeman ditched the new leprechaun gear that he wore week 1 and week 2. The curse of the leprechaun. Maybe. I don't know.
The running Irish, not the fighting Irish. Yeah.
We need Ivan to write a book on the history of the mascot. Justin Endy Sniper. I don't think Freeman's ever had a defense as bad his entire career. Probably not that he ran. I mean, he was technically the DC every year at Cincy, and they were terrible his first year there. But was he even calling it? I mean, it's his first year as a DC. and he was coaching under a boss in Luke Fickell, who's got his own problems right now, but who at the time, was Marcus's college's coach. And I imagine at the very least oversaw that unit. I don't know that, but yeah, I mean,
I think like his first defense at Notre Dame got off to a pretty bad start.
they weren't great. No.
Collapsed at Florida State. They won in overtime. They beat Toledo 32-29. But then they kind of like got it together. Like they beat Purdue, but they only allowed 13 points, not 30 points. Then they had the Wisconsin game in Chicago where I think that was the Graham Mertz game. They had two pick sixes and a kickoff return touchdown. They win 41-13. Even though they lose to Cincinnati at home the week to follow, they
played well that game defensively.
Yeah, defensively was not the problem. Like you fumble a kickoff return, you throw a pick in the end zone, and then I mean they did face a bunch of backup quarterbacks in November, but still, they were fundamentally sound. And they were by the third game of the season, you were seeing the fundamental soundness start to click. You're not seeing this after the third game of the season with this defense.
Yeah. A lot of Ash questions, a lot of Freeman questions, a lot of people arguing with each other. Justin Indy Sniper again, and the best quarterback he'll have for a while, for all we know ever. For all we ever know. I mean, the great tragedy, football tragedy, if you will, in this season, assuming it does not end in a playoff berth, would be how they wasted what looks like the best quarterback they've had in quite some time in his debut season by forcing him to score 40 points a game. I mean, it's weird how it never seems to line up, and I'm sure fans of every program would say the same about their programs, but I want to see Kenny Minchie run a little bit more of an offense when they put him in the fourth quarter, just because he's not your typical backup in the sense of this was almost his job. Let's see what he can do. The same way you want to see the backup kicker kick more. But man, it's you mentioned the Notre Dame's defense having its way with Carr in camp.
I'm just
it's pretty remarkable. Pretty remarkable how good he's looked. NBC did a little bit early on the tipping plays situation, how the feet are they showed plays where his feet were the same for both run and pass. And hey, looks like he fixed it. But I came away. The positives. I came away last week more and more impressed by the day of man, he really threw for 293 yards against those guys when they knew he was going to throw. That's really impressive for a redshirt freshman. And he's going to put up some big numbers this year. And you hope it doesn't all come down to his shoulders, which is the way it's trending right now.
At a minimum, I thought it's nice that they were able to have success, a ton of success offensively without the quarterback run game being part of it. Because if you're going to ask CJ Carr to do what he's doing right now, you would like him to be able to do that without him taking some wicked shots as a runner. Because he's tough, but man, you don't want it to go sideways that way on a 5-yard run on 3rd and 10.
Yeah. Phil, did Hobbs get injured as well, or did they move on to Golden Bean, the nickelback?
For tonight, they moved on. And I guess we'll see where they move with that forward. I mean, Hobbs, I think we'll see how long Devonta Smith is out. We'll see how long Leonard Moore is out. I would assume Leonard Moore. I was surprised. I thought Leonard Moore was closer to playing than Devonta Smith based on what I was picking up during the week. But then Leonard Moore was in sweats and Devonta Smith was in full gear. So I don't know if that's right. But I would say, for one night at least, Dallas Golden had won the starting nickel job. I'm not saying he was perfect, but he made a pick. It was a really nice pick too. That they need more playmakers in the back of the defense than what they've got.
It's interesting because I got the sense, I guess we're technically Sunday morning, Friday night, I started to get the word that Moore probably wasn't going to play. And then you see pictures of him pregame not in uniform. And then Notre Dame puts out the injury report saying he's questionable when, like, he's not in uniform. Clearly, he's not questionable. I guessing that comes from the trainer. And I say that, having been – I was at Northwestern 2 weeks ago. I saw a guy on the sideline with his arm in a sling, and he was out of uniform. And they said questionable. And I said, he doesn't look like he's going to play. And they said, the trainer told us to say questionable, so we're saying questionable. You can infer from that whatever you want. So I don't know how that, line of communication breaks down at every program. But if he didn't dress for today, I don't know. I mean, does it mean he's further away from playing than we thought he was? Does that mean he might not play next week against Arkansas? Certainly hope not. But yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either on that one.
Jay, agree on the offensive praise. Pete thinks this is what Matt missed on the good threads to pull out of this game to add to the rest efficiency. They didn't miss a third down to the fourth quarter. I've been singing the offensive praises left and right here. I just think it's a three-phase team. Well, they missed 2 fourth downs in the fourth quarter, but that was with the backups in.
Yeah, there were 6 of 10, but I'm guessing that means they started 6 of 8 or 6 of 7. So yeah, I thought just the efficiency of the offense I thought was phenomenal. The game is slower to Carr every week he's played it. And as much as, Freeman talks about the bumpy road and there's going to be ups and downs, and I'm conditioned to think Carr will have a bad game at some point because every quarterback has bad games at some point. Yeah, he is a human being. But if you told me he just was going to play pretty well, if his bad game was a B-, I don't know if that would blow me away either. The game just looks like it's slowing. So when he gets up there, he came in post game, and when you ask him a X's and O's scheme question, he's got kind of a savant memory happening where he's talking about it was Malachi Fields. Somebody asked about the Malachi Fields touchdown. He's like, yeah, I saw the boundary or the field safety come down to shallow depth about 7-8 yards, and the boundary safety was kind of lurking around the run gaps, and it was play action. I could just feel the safety, getting a little bit too close, and then boom, you feel and he's talking about the phase on with the sight adjust, and the corner was squatting on the route, and we're kind of, watching it, and I give, phase on a signal, boom, this is a double route go. I just think the stuff he's doing is 300 level in your third start that. I don't know. There's this, and I talked to a ton of people around Notre Dame in the last year where he is the dude. This is all happening, and then training camp happens. You're what happened? But I don't know. I'm even though I was prepared to be impressed, I'm still really, really impressed with CJ Carr.
The way you describe his memory, I feel like that's every great quarterback, right? Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, all those guys, Aaron Rodgers, if you get them going on football, they speak a completely different language, and it's all just natural to them.
He's fluent. He's just fluent in it. And it's just, most guys are their brain locks up. I mean, I've seen so many quarterbacks where you just see their eyes glaze over in big spots, or they really just have to memorize everything and hope that it goes the way that they want it to go. I think Carr is just he's got some really high level football intellect where he can, play on script, but then if you adjust, he knows what that adjustment is as soon as you do it, and he's got an adjustment for your adjustment. That's just really friggin' unique, man.
Mr. Panthers 23. If Notre Dame loses one more game, what are the chances that Freeman takes away play calling duties from Ash? Well, I mean, if they lose one more game, it's too late, right?
Yeah, really doesn't make a
difference. You're right out of the playoff now. Yeah, it makes a difference of, is this season going completely off the rails, or is there something to study and build on from here?
Yeah. Pop-Tarts Bowl or Mayo Bowl is the question at that point.
Well, both have great marketing arms, and both have great post-game trophy presentations. So
yeah,
you can get a picture on those fields like you did with Tony the
Tony
Tiger
the
a couple of years ago. You thought you were beyond that, Pete, but you might not be. Thanks to Chris
God,
Nash.
yeah. That's reaching my full potential as a reporter.
A lot of arguing in here. Trying to find like a coherent. There's a lot of arguing. Drunk Vigo, of course, they take it from the guy who's got drunk in his name. CJ's the best passer we've had since Jimmy Clausen. No argument from me.
Totally
Drunk Vigo adds, too bad he doesn't have Floyd and Tate to throw to. Yeah, we call use some Michael Floyds and Golden Tates in our lives. You're going to say Malachi Fields is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I could tell by the look on your face.
No, I was just saying, like, I think that the receiver group is one that is as advertised. You know, Freeman said, this is my best receiver group. I know that's not saying a ton, but I think it's a good group of receivers. I think where Faison is in his development is really impressive. You know, great house. We know he has it in him. He just really hasn't shown it. And like Will Pauling would be the best number 4 wide receiver at Notre Dame in like 10 years. Like it just, I'm not saying it's like
put that on his recruiting bio, Pete.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's like I'm not saying this is Jamar Chase and Jordan Jefferson, but it's a good group of receivers. Like they have all the pieces on offense, and like, can you imagine what this offense would look like if Charles Jagasaw was part of the line? I mean, there would be yet another level for them to get to. So yeah, I love where the offense is going. I love how Denbrock's sort of figuring out as he goes. Like the line got a lot better today. The sky is the limit on that side of the ball.
Jay, pull my comment a bit out of context. I responded to you early in the pod. Wasn't trying to come at you, Matt. All good, Jay. I did not feel attacked there. Here. Pete, you could take this one. Jimmy Page. Our best receiver is a walk-on lacrosse player. Laughing emoji twice.
He's on scholarship now, Jimmy Page. Look, I don't care if he's a walk-on or a scholarship guy or what other sport he plays. He is, and I have a big feature on him coming next week. His suddenness in and out of breaks is really, really unique. And now he's playing with a confidence that I think you saw it on Jadarian Price's touchdown run last week against A&M, where like Faison is like a mini pit bull out there in terms of like how he likes to throw his body around in the run game. Like that part I think is awesome. So yeah, Jimmy Page, let's put some respect on the name of Jordan Faison.
Jack Corcoran, every coach makes bad hires. Saban's first OC at Bama was Major Applewhite. Great ones know when to make a change, like BVG in 15-16, bringing him back next year dooms you before it starts, IMO. I don't know if we need to turn the page of next year just yet, but yeah, people do make bad hires from time to time. I don't know how some are costlier or more costly than others. I don't know if we're there yet with Notre Dame, but like something needs to change on the defense. I'm not saying you need to make a coordinator change or a play caller change, but like whatever they're doing right now is not working, and they gotta figure it out. And we're grasping at straws for answers right now from everything we can gather. Jimmy Page with a couple comments here to say he was joking. Well, you can't joke about that about receivers around Pete.
Thank you. He says I love the dude. So thank you, Jimmy Page, for coming to getting
great name. On that note, I think that's all I got for tonight. Okay. Unless you got something you want to add.
I'm good. I'll let you get back to your hotel in Bloomington. You've probably already written extensively in the.
I'm done writing. I've done everything.
Have you? Yeah, no, I'm done now.
Okay.
When you get like a 72-2 game, you can start writing early. So
I was done at halftime with this game. I literally plugged in the final score and turnover margin at the end.
Halftime.
Got to see Pat Coogan on the field. Saw Holden Stays with his family after.
As an aside, does Pat Coogan give the like 4 quarters of FU football speech down there or no?
Don't know. He is a captain though.
Oh, all right. So he's certainly he's entitled to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do it in Notre Dame Stadium, you could do it anywhere, right? Like,
Yeah,
in theory.
Bloomington, give me a break. Anything goes down there.
Yes, I was impressed by the turnout here because it's not, Notre Dame or traditional college football blue blood, but the way too many people here who are way too casual with their parking spots and putting their seats in the spots and then literally coming up to me asking me why I'm parking in a parking spot. It's like, yeah, no, like that's what these are for, cars. Sorry to be here for the actual football.
Here.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was.
God.
I got some nasty looks today, and they were not warranted.
Thank
God. Let me just say, thank God that playoff game.
There, everything's weird.
Thank God that playoff game was there last year, not here.
Oh God. Well, maybe there will be a playoff game in Bloomington this year.
Yeah, maybe.
No. All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to call it a night. You're going to do the same since we're both done writing. Now we're both done podcasting, but I can just go upstairs to my bed. You have to go back to your hotel. So we will reconvene midweek. I don't think we have a new published author to have as a guest, so we'll have to figure somebody out. But I think we can make that work. So until our midweek show, he's Matt. I'm Pete. Thanks for being with us on the latest episode of The Independent.